Jeremy Burton, Executive Director, Jewish Community Relations Council of Greater Boston. I grew up here in New York City in the Orthodox community. My parents raised me partially in a modern Orthodox community on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. I had a sense that I was different, but I didn't understand or know how to articulate that difference. I felt like an outsider, I felt alone, and sometimes I was dealing with real depression. And without knowing what that depression was coming from, my parents clearly understood that I was unhappy. Coming out was an incredibly rewarding and mostly embracing, loving experience for me. I remember sitting with my mother in her living room and telling her that this was who I was, and she paused, asked a few questions, and then she took a walk with the dog, and maybe a half hour later she was like, I love you, I love who you are, I love you for who you are and what you are in this world, and I love you as my son, and none of this changes that. As a professional and as a Jewish professional, I would not be where I am today, and I would not be the Executive Director of the Jewish Community Relations Council of Boston if I had not come out. What our community looks for, what our community needs in its leaders are people who are deeply rooted in a sense of purpose, who are clear about their own sense of their Judaism, their own sense of identity, their own sense of connection to Jewish identity. LGBT people in the Jewish community and the inclusion of LGBT people in roles of Jewish leadership are part of a larger arc of change in American Jewish life and in Jewish life around the world that has been about seeing our community as more diverse than one face or one idea of what it means to look like a Jew. And I think that the Jewish community itself has been enriched and transformed when we don't lose our strongest leaders, when we don't lose our greatest potential. We are stronger for it. Being an inclusive organization is more than just making a decision to say that, or saying that's one of one's values. It's a daily commitment, it's an ongoing commitment to communicate that through our actions, through our messages, through our symbols. It matters when somebody walks in and sees posters in the walls of Jewish heroes and doesn't see LGBT heroes on the walls of your synagogue Hebrew school. And it matters when somebody joins a synagogue and doesn't see LGBT couples celebrating their simchas from the bima. That doesn't mean one has to do all those things, but to be intentional and thoughtful, and to recognize that the choices we make as institutions and as communities send messages. And there are resources out there. There are incredible resources in the Jewish community, organizations and individuals who want to help be more inclusive. But the point is there are people out there who are willing to help when organizations are willing to make that commitment.